Well, alrighty then.
Hey, good evening, kittens.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Yes. Today is Wednesday, March 13th.
March 13th.
Yes, today is Wednesday, March 13th. And welcome to the BGKH Show. This is show.
Oh, hold on, I'm trying to show more.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
We showing we doing like we.
I got this T-shirt on, so.
Oh, well then you out. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. If I reach, if I reach under.
You can pull it down a little bit more. There you go. Oh,
there you go.
Microphone that came.
Oh, now my mic. Oh, no, just the cover on the microphone.
Cover on the microphone.
Hold on.
And this like.
Now I'm flash and run.
So wait a minute. So then on top of this, now we got braiding hair out. Is that what we doing?
What?
We got braiding chest hair out. That's what we doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Braiding hair.
Well, you know,
I got like seven strands
I
and
got good yaki chest hair. You know,
bundles of just braiding hair, and I got like 7 pieces of hair right here.
See any tracks?
7, just the 7, nothing else. I need to close that on up. That don't make no damn sense. Hey,
how y'all doing?
what's going on?
Episode 47.
Yeah, I think we are 47.
47. God bless that ministry.
Excuse me, y'all. I think I'm going through menopause. It's a little hot for me. I'm a little warm.
You are wearing.
Yeah, I'm a little warm.
You are wearing a onesie, so that does do it for you.
Let me explain to you all how I am so comfortable in this onesie situation.
I'm incredibly comfortable. I'm
Onesies,
living my dream.
If you ain't about that onesie life, you ain't. Listen, this is my 3rd, and my collection is now starting to grow. So
I have like 4 or 5.
Yeah, so I already peeped. There's one I saw that I just haven't seen where I'm going to get it. It looks really like sweatshirt material with this writing on it. I'm going to just wear this thing right on out. And listen, you ain't about that onesie life. I'm about that onesie life. So actually, no, that's 4. I think I'm at 4 as well.
Oh.
4 maybe. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so, but yeah. Yeah, I'm all about it. And it's comfortable. I feel like a kid, and I get in it. After a long day, I come on home, take the clothes off, take my shoes and socks off, and put my little onesie on, and I'm good. Like, yes. I'm warm, I'm toasty, all of that is good.
So, what is this show?
This is the BGKH Show. It's the show for...
Wait a minute, who is you?
Oh, I didn't introduce myself. Oh, I'm sorry. I am your host for the evening, onesie number 1.
And I am your host for the evening, onesie number 0.
Right. There's always those binary people.
You know, I always get,
0 1 0 1
0
0 1. Right. 0.
Shade.
But anyway, thank you for tuning in to the show. This is Dominion, as you all have seen, and I am Epic.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm chewing gum. That is so undignified. Hold on. Like I said, it's very undignified.
But it's classy.
And when you popping it like that, that's just so much worse. Yes, like that. Here you go.
You reminded me of this woman in church. Listen, let me tell you about how I got set up when I went to church one time. I went to church with some friends of mine, and they were like, "You can't chew gum going into the sanctuary." They were like, "She's gonna get you," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm good." I was chewing this gum in line, and I had stopped like 4 people ahead of her. Baby, when I tell you she stopped that line and she stood right in front of me, she was like, "There's no gum in the sanctuary," and I was sitting there like, just spit it out, just went on there. I was never so done. But anyway,
right.
So I will pop this gum out of my mouth in a second. But yes, so this is Dominion, and I am Epic, and this is the BGKH Show, which stands for, the B is for what?
The Blacks.
Get into it. Blacks on wax. The gays. Hey, Charles.
Hey.
The kinky. Well, there's a whole, it's a, and it's a couple other little things.
Come on, swallow. Like you haven't felt that pressure on the side of your face before.
I don't know what it is that you're talking about.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that you do.
And the H is for
humans.
So.
Mostly. I mean, you know.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in tonight.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get a chance to watch Drag Race.
Girl. Really?
I was busy putting together my house.
We're going to come to that.
Okay.
But this is what we're here for. We're here to talk about all the stuff that goes on, including Drag Race. This is what we're here for. So are we just going to spoil the surprise? Or are we just going to have to hold on, wait, and do a double recap?
Just do a double recap next week.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to do a double recap next week.
I'm sorry. I don't want to take I don't want to take my mask off.
This is a lip sync competition.
I understand that.
This is a lip sync competition. What part of not taking your mask off?
I understand that, but I really don't want to take my mask off. Is that okay? Can I continue to perform this lip sync without you being able to see my lips?
She should have Joan Crawforded her ass and jumped up and be like, yeah! That's what she should have did, but she took the classy route out, and it is what it is.
Barbara, please!
Yeah, she took the very classy route out, but anyway. So since we can't talk about Drag Race, then
no, we still got plenty to talk about.
Well,
Let's start.
Well, you done brought it up, so we might as well start with your house.
No, for that, we're gonna talk about. So our brother Volt came to town on Monday, and we went out to dinner at this cute little Indian restaurant called the Bombay Club, and the food was delicious. It was quite tasty.
Let's talk about this food at this Bombay Club.
I loved everything that I had. Now, everything was fine yesterday. Everything was fine this morning. At about 1 o'clock, that butter chicken and all that other stuff I had was like, break yourself, fool. You got 5 seconds to get to the bathroom.
Listen.
Like, I was literally sitting there and everything was cool, and all of a sudden my stomach was like, brr. Normally you're just like, okay, girl, I'll get it in a second. My son was like, if you don't get your ass up and get to this bathroom right now, I swear to God, we're going to shit all over this office.
Exactly. So for me,
I mean, it's not that I'm not going to go again, but now I will just be prepared, because I tell you, I went to that bathroom and, I'm just like walking like, and my asshole slapped me in the back of the head. I was like, I'd have told you.
Listen.
Oh, I'd have told you. You better quick step it. You better quick step it.
Well, your constitution was, listen, mine was not as strong, because for whatever reason, after we ate that night,
oh, really?
I was like, something don't feel right. I woke up that morning and I was like famished. I was like, oh my God, I was so hungry.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what was going on. I got to work, I started feeling all sluggish and shit, and I was like, what? I'm feeling just a little off. I just didn't quite feel right. My stomach was kind of gurgling, kind of bubbling. I ate some breakfast and I said, okay, well, I'm going to try to see if I was like, okay, I didn't feel right. Then I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom and I said, okay, I feel a little bit better. But then it was like that just moved everything down from where it was. It was like you was halfway feeling it, but then it was like it moved down into like, no, you're going to always feel this.
All right.
And I'm at work like, I wanted to leave and work like an hour and a half early, because I was like, I got to go home. I got to get myself together. I got home. And listen, anybody that is 40 plus and older, and you have seen the movie called The Bucket List, there's one piece of advice that I took out of this movie. When Jack Nicholson said to Morgan Freeman, never waste an erection and never trust a fart.
Was it that bad, baby?
Oh, dark o'clock in the morning, I rolls over, and what I thought was going to be just something that was going to be slight, listen, it was a 40-yard dash to the bathroom, trying to get myself together so that I will not have to do all this cleanup. And then you wake up out of a dead sleep, and you have no coordination whatsoever. My bed sits up off the ground as is, so it's like another foot. So then I get down on the carpet. I'm trying to slide on the carpet. I'm trying to get through the door. I'm trying to get out the door into the other room and over to the bathroom, and I'm trying to get to the door. Listen, that was too close for comfort. And I stayed home because I just did not feel well the entire day. I was on that couch like, and I even had a meeting that Tuesday night, and I was like, I just couldn't do it. I was like, it's not gonna work for me. I was like, I just can't. So I stayed home and I got myself together. I was trying to eat eat very light and very neutral and try to keep stuff on my stomach. But that I'm not doing that. Bombay, you did that. You did that, girl. Because I'm not. I can't.
The food was good though.
Now and that's the thing. It tasted so good. It was so good going down.
I mean, it's not that I'm, and it's not even that I won't necessarily go again. I'm just gonna.
I'll have a couple bites, and that's about it. I'm not going to do a full dish because it was very, and it wasn't even really spicy. Even when he talked about the green chili,
it wasn't super spicy.
The green chili, which he said was like people were crying. I was like, well, wasn't that spicy to me? But I mean, okay, but that butter chicken or tikka chicken, I think that's what it was called. It was something chicken.
Yeah.
It was like butter chicken, so rich, so good. And then what was that sauce y'all had? That little dessert, the creme. It was like a creamy.
The cream, yeah.
It looked a little too lumpy for me. But okay, all right. But anyway, it was good. But yeah, she got me all the way together. So I'll be going back into work with a new attitude now.
And a new GI tract.
Listen,
because you cleaned out. You should have lost a good 10 pounds.
That's my tracks.
Whistling
right
while
now.
you work.
Exactly. So yeah, we're good. So. But it's been interesting. So we're gonna ease back onto the trail. Listen, I didn't go a day without my bacon. Now let me be clear about that. I did have some bacon. Priorities.
So my house. So the basement is 100% done now.
Because I was feeling some type of way about that at first. Not getting the invite. It's okay.
The pledges were there.
I got it. I was feeling some. Listen, I was getting ready to be on camera like.
Wait a minute, and you did get a particular invite last Saturday, but you had other plans.
I did, and I could have had a V8.
I thought you got some vitamin D.
I could have had a V8.
So the vitamin D didn't sustain you.
Didn't sustain you. A V8.
No, are they watching us?
Leave it alone.
Ooh. It's like that.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Now I know. I feel like text me because I want to know now.
Leave it alone.
America, inquiring minds want to know.
Leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
I'm just saying.
Just leave it alone.
Okay.
Just leave it alone.
So anyway, there was, I had, had some cleanup to do, got all that done. I finally got the shower head that I've been looking for upstairs. So I spent $140 on it.
Is this like the rain shower? Like the rain
from Jacuzzi. So it comes, it's still got a single connection, but the arm comes up and over and drips down. Mm-hmm. But then there's also a second handheld thing to it. Yeah, so
okay.
It's a little pricey.
That's for upstairs or that's
for upstairs?
Okay.
Not for
I was like,
anybody going to use that too much. So.
Okay. But that was installed in the basement though, right?
Yeah, there's a full bathroom in the basement.
Okay. Cool.
And I laid out my purple shag carpet.
Did you put the picture up?
The pictures are still at my sister's house, so I still got to get that. So the black lady and the tiger. So that will be coming over and making their debut when I get back from Atlanta. So then I bought this really attractive sectional off of Overstock.
Okay.
And that girl, I can't put that girl together. Because it's got these friction connections where one piece sits like this and the other piece is supposed to, it's like a V, right? Mm-hmm. And so the other piece, if I could get my fingers right, it's supposed to sit down in there, but trying to line the pieces up. Me and Azamek struggled with that shit for 2 days trying to get it together. So it's like an L-shaped sectional. Okay. So we finally got a sofa together, and then the other piece, I was like, we're just going to put this together. It's going to be like a free-floating shades, because we couldn't get it to, because you got to stand one piece up, then put the next piece, drop into that. Then you got a whole load of pieces together and drop that into the third piece, then drop the whole thing into the other, and it just didn't fit together right, because I was imagining that the shit was just going to screw together or some shit like that, or that it just sat next to one another. But no, they were designed to be put together, and it's like It's like Lincoln Logs, you know, or not Lincoln Logs, but you know, like literally, if you this piece and then the V goes in like this, and so if they don't fit, if you can't align this, and it's not just this one, you got to align this one and this one and the top with this, so you got to get all three pieces. And you know, you got to hold all of this shit up in the air in order to get this to fit right. And at some point, I was just like, fuck it. We're just going to go to IKEA and get some extra legs and turn that.
I have a feeling it's like my couch. Like, I know exactly.
And we're just going to turn that L-shaped part into a freestanding chaise that's going to just sit there. And then, so I was, I was in the market for a TV, right? So I was going to get a 75-inch. Because in terms of TV, bigger is always better. Bigger is always better.
To me, after about 50, 55 inches, they all seem the same to me. To me. That's just me. The television, but that's just me.
Are y'all looking at my face?
That's just me. I'm just saying. I mean, but if you want to have,
I don't even know you right now.
92 inches of television, I mean, that's fine.
I don't even know you right now. So I was going to get to 75, right? So with the stand, the TV needed a vertical clearance of 43 inches.
Okay.
Now the space between the top of my cabinets, the top of the lower cabinets and the bottom of the upper cabinets was 41. Oh. Now without the stand, the TV was 39. So it would have fit.
Okay.
But, so I'd already had the contractor come in and core drill through the wall outside so that I could bring the cable in.
Okay.
And child, it was there with this drill. They were like,
damn house shaking.
Because the way that my basement walls are built, my walls are literally this thick.
Okay.
So, because it's called expanded polystyrene, basically styrofoam. Okay. So they have these styrofoam forms on the outside connected with a piece of metal that holds the styrofoam. It's a rigid styrofoam.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you got that. Then you stack up a row of those. You fill that with concrete, and then you stagger it in a brick pattern to do the next row, the next row, the next row, the next row. That's why it stays incredibly cool in my basement, even in the summer. But that means if I needed to hang something on the wall, it's literally 1 feet, drilling. So, of course, there's gypsum board on the wall, but most walls there's gypsum board and then air. So those anchors work because even if it's just gypsum board, you drill into it, you put the anchor in, then as you screw it in, it forces the anchor back up against the wall. But that means there needs to be space behind that for it to draw up. Right behind that gypsum board is 1 foot of concrete. So trying to dig through that, and so I wasn't going to do that because sorry. I just had terrible visions of coming down the stairs one day. Because, I don't go down to the TV. I don't go down to the basement all the time and just seeing my brand new $2,000 75-inch TV face down on the ground. So I got a 65-inch TV. That's fit beautifully with the stand on it.
Okay. I mean, you lost 10 inches, but I mean, are you okay? I mean, I don't want you to suffer.
I mean, 10 inches is getting smaller and smaller every day.
You're suffering. You are suffering.
I am suffering.
He is suffering from the 75 inches, and now he's at the 65.
I know. It's just terrible.
I just want to make sure you're okay. There's
I'm in mourning.
Okay.
I'm in mourning. I mean, I've seen someone, we
have a whole Rolodex people that you can actually counsel.
Yes, I called all of the people.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so I was going to get a sound system, a sound bar to go with it. Okay. So Azamek is like, let's go to Best Buy. I'm like, why?
Well, half of that stuff is out and you get to see it.
It's out, but it's also out at like Costco and BJ's, which was where I was going to buy it anyway, because I get points at BJ's and I can use my BJ's.
Well, don't say it like Best Buy is like the garbage of like, you're like,
well, Best Buy is more expensive because they can't buy in bulk.
That's true, but you can still
for
get
the TV.
to see.
So once I decided I was going to get the 65-inch TV, I saw the price they had at Best Buy and I was like, Let me see. It was $11.49. It was also $11.49 at Costco and $11.49 at BJ's.
Okay.
So the guy who was helping us, who was cute, so I'm like trying to low key walk out. He was like, "What? Y'all not gonna buy anything?" I was like, "I'm going to keep looking." He knew what I meant. Because, you know, the Best Buy is right across the parking lot from the Costco and right down the street from the BJ. So
yes,
he knew what the fuck that meant. But anyway, so I was like, I still want to buy a sound system. So he was like, well, let me show you sound systems. So I didn't want to spend $300 on a sound bar. I did not want to spend $300 on a sound bar. This hoe takes me to see the Sonos system and the Bose system. So, you know, and this is how they get you. They don't just have regular tracks. They have special tracks designed to show the systems to their best effect.
Right.
So he started playing the music, and then he hits a button, and all of a sudden it's like earth-shaking bass. And then I look at the prices of these systems. Now, remember, I didn't even want to spend $300. The unit itself, now the unit is nice. The unit is about this long, about this deep, and about this thick. So it's just like a bar that sits. They aren't these huge systems anymore.
Okay.
And, you know, they got all kinds of sound processing, so it makes it, even though it's just this one unit here, it makes it sound like the sound is coming from behind you and everything, so it's wonderful. And so that one unit was $699. Then I looked at the bass unit, which is separate, which I already said I didn't want because I didn't want a separate subunit, was another $699. So I was like, so in order to recreate this sound, I got to spend $1,500. So I declined.
Yeah.
So we went to BJ's, and they had my TV for $11.49, and then they had a sound bar from BJ's. You know, I got some good old Ella put on, you know, with some good bass and everything.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this sound real good for $179. So I got me a $179 sound bar, plugged that girl in, and she sounds beautiful in my basement. Because the space isn't super deep. The space in the basement so if the TV is on the opposite wall, which, you know, they can't all see, the basement is only as deep from that wall to this wall.
Right.
So, you know, so you don't need...
But you're not even in the basement that much where you're actually need that, you know...
Right, so now I done spent $149 for the sound bar and $11.49 for the TV. So that's good. So I spent $1,300 for a TV and the sound bar, and so I'm good.
Great. So you're... Okay, well, you're good. And
so I'm good. And the kids came down and they rolled around and... in the shag carpet, because it is real shag carpet. The carpet is
like shag carpet, like when we were younger, like shag.
It's like 2 inches. It's like 2 inches, 2.5 inches thick. Like you can literally, right? Your foot, you know, unless you got real fucked up toes, your toes will completely disappear in the carpet. So you know, so everything is nice. So as soon as I get back from Atlanta, we're going to have the real estate agent come through and appraise that girl. Okay. And if she give me a good number, you know, we might not be in that house for long. I was like, I hope someone else enjoys this, which is the whole reason that I was doing this in the first place.
Like, sayonara girls.
Yes.
Well,
so how was your week?
My week was good. I'm actually, I was out of town. I was in Hampton.
I heard you met up with one of our pledges.
I did. I met up with one of our pledges and had dinner with him. And
on an app, no less.
Yes, we did meet up on an app.
Classic.
Well, I mean...
But then again, that's how I met you.
Is that how we originally met?
That is. And you was trying to hit on me, and I was just like, I think we're better sisters.
Let's be clear, bitches.
Showed me all his business, and he did not.
I was like, let's be clear, bitches.
He did not show me his business, but that is
that how
we did on the one that starts with a G.
You know what?
Or that's the first time I remember talking to you.
No. That was not the first time we met, and it wasn't on that website. Because when I came to the interest meeting afterwards, I introduced myself and I said, hey, my name is such and such and such and such. We met on this, that, and the other. You were like, okay. I said, oh, this shade, bitch. I said, oh. I was like, thank you.
That is not how that happened.
We were in Trick Box. We were in Trick Box for the meeting. And when I came in, I was coming up the steps. I came into the door. I took my coat off. I was walking around the back part of that where the stand are. The stands for their wardrobe, for their stuff is. And I was walking around. You were walking out, and I was like, hey, I was like, hey, nice to meet you. I met you before. We chatted online, and you were like,
online, right? That's where we met online.
we did meet online, but it wasn't on that site. It wasn't exactly. It wasn't on that site. So what I'm saying to you is that it was not that site. That's what I'm telling you. It was not that site.
Oh,
it was not that
you
site.
nasty.
And that was the first time we spoke on that site, but that was the first time I actually introduced myself. I think to you.
Yes.
We were talking.
And you tried to say I was shady?
But you were shady. I was like, hey, I just want to meet. I was like, I just want to say hi. You like?
I mean, I can't give away.
Listen,
I cannot give away.
For those of you that know Dominion,
I cannot give away.
You know what this means. Okay. You know what that means. So
I cannot give away all of my. I cannot give away all of my energy to perfect strangers who I might never see again. Did I say hello? Did I or did I not say hello?
Actually, no, you didn't say hello. I said, my name is, we met on, you were like, okay.
That is not how that, I would never have done that.
Did you just say you would never have done that?
I would never do that.
Oh my God, my phone is ringing.
I'm sure I was like, it's nice to meet you and kept it moving.
If that's how you want to remember it, that's fine.
That is how I choose to remember it because that's how it happened.
Okay. So,
but anyway, we're here.
We're here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here.
And despite you coming on to me, giving me the hard press, we're still friends. We're friends to this day.
Mental illness is real, child. It is real.
So I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, so
the week was good. Like I said, I met up with one of the pledges. We laughed and joked. I was very, very, very impressed with our conversation because we kind of talked about a couple things that they want to do. Mm-hmm. So I was very impressed with that. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work out for him.
Yes.
So, but also I was I'm trying out this new Pure. We were talking about this the other day.
Yes.
So listen, I'm old school.
Oh, the 500 pills a day.
Yeah, I'm old school, and I just kind of I'm not gonna say old school. Well, yeah, I'll say old school because I think it's very simple. If you want to increase your fiber intake, take some more fiber, and that's what it is. So I've been using this powdered fiber substance for God knows how long. You just put it in a cup, kind of like Metamucil. Mm-hmm. Put some water and stir it up, drink it down, and that's it. But it becomes very messy because it sticks to the cups and the glasses and the spoons, all that type of stuff. So usually I try to do it with paper stuff or plastic stuff so I can just throw it away. I don't have to do that much cleanup with it. Well, that becomes cumbersome because you have to put out these two big scoops and you have this powder that looks like sawdust that you're putting into bags when you want to pack or when you want to take it with you. It just becomes really,
Can't you buy the little
it's not travel friendly.
But
they don't necessarily come in little tubes as
Metamucil
powder.
Comes in, you can buy it in tube. When I say in tubes, like individual serving sizes in the little.
So those little packs.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably can buy those. But again, you're still putting it into a cup and all that type of stuff. But then also, it's
I used
not.
To just put it in a thing of water.
But it's also not the measurement that I usually do because I usually just take there's a teaspoon and a tablespoon. I usually just take 1 tablespoon and that's it. So it's not enough as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
But anyway, they also make caplets
you want to be
and everything
clean
else.
Deeply.
I just want to make sure I'm getting the fiber in there for 18,000 reasons because I'm a man that's over 45 and I need to get some fiber in my life, and not to mention any other issue that may come up. So that's all I'm saying.
Dick.
But so this Pure, which are the capsules or caplets, and it's great. It travels very well, and that's all fine and dandy. But it doesn't seem to be working for me. It's not really. They're saying take 2 to 3 in the morning, and then 2 to 3 in the evening. So that's a total of 6 for the day.
Have you ever thought that maybe part of what happened with you and the food was all of that finally?
I have been doing that all week. Like so let me be clear. I've been having regular bathroom visits. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't been clean, and I knew that wasn't it because it came out completely different. It was the consistency was
and the
upset stomach.
The smell was like. Oof.
Well, that's
what them spices do to you.
But anyway, so I'm not really. I'm gonna finish this bottle out, but we're gonna see. I think I might go back to my regular powder because this it just seems to work better for me, and I feel more clean. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, but if it works for you, that's great. It just may not work for me. So apparently it's not, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go back to my other stuff. But other than that, week is good. Doing some stuff with my mom.
How is mommy dearest?
Mommy's fine. I'm going
mommy,
to actually. go and check her out sometime during this week or before the weekend, just to kind of stop up and spend the evening and say hey. But more importantly,
She
go
ain't been
drop
like
off painting.
biting people and shit. Has she still?
She's good.
calmed down.
Yeah, she's good. I think with that, she is so used to being. She was so used to being by herself in her own space.
Yeah.
That having someone to tell her what to do and when to do it. That was it came to a head.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It came
I'd
to
be
a
mad
head.
about that shit too.
And so I got
Been
it.
independent for 70-some years, and all of a sudden you got another person telling you, all right, time to bed, time to go to bed,
And,
time to bathe, time to eat.
Yeah, and so it was a lot, but she's good, and she's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a phone call from my uncle, which I'm still trying to understand why. Are you calling
Here we
me?
go.
Why are you calling me? Like why?
Then we had this conversation. I don't want to talk to you no more.
Like why are you calling me? So I still haven't called him back. So it's like whatever.
Right.
It just went right to voicemail. But anyway, other than that, it was a good week. Yeah, it was a real good week. Very good week.
So, all right. So we're not going to talk about Drag Race until next week.
We have to do it.
Did you see Captain Marvel yet?
I did see Captain Marvel.
What did you think? You always live to be contrary.
Here's what I will say that's good about the show, about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good origin story.
Yeah.
There was one scene that I thought was everything, where Captain Marvel went up in the air. She was out in space, and she had this kind of like space updo hairstyle type thing going on. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Which I thought was unnecessary because I was like, wouldn't all that hair just like freeze and fall off? But sure, whatever. I mean, we're already talking about somebody with with superpowers and whatever. So here's me. The relationship between her and
The best friend.
I was like, are they?
The thought crossed my mind because I was like,
I mean, yes, I get that you missed your best friend or whatever, but it seemed like there was some subtext there.
yeah, I don't remember any of that in the comic books about there being any sort of love affair there, but I surely got those teased as well. That's what I felt. But hey,
No, Maria is the mother. The daughter's name is Monica.
yes,
And so what I have read
Monica
is that
yes,
20 years from now. So remember, because that took place like 20 years ago.
yes. Well,
yeah, because that was in the early 90s.
That piece, yes,
Right.
That piece of it.
So
yes.
like now, in the time when Infinity Wars take place, Monica has become Captain Marvel, and what was her name?
Cheryl Danvers.
Carol.
I'm sorry,
Carol
Danvers.
Danvers has become Ms. Marvel. So because Monica grows up, becomes like a test pilot, does something, gets exposed to her energy wave, and gets the same kind of powers that Captain Marvel has, and so she sort of takes over as the new Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel becomes Ms. Marvel,
Right.
which introduced the first black female superhero to the Marvel universe. So I thought that might be an interesting thing to do because again,
But there was a timeline mix-up with the comic books to me, because I remember her Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel being before this Captain Marvel. My timeline might be a little off, but
I didn't watch any. I wasn't a comic book person. I am definitely a superhero movie person, but I'm not a comic person.
yeah, that was. But anyway, she does. I thought that was great foreshadowing. They put that in there.
I did like, that it showed, maybe only in our minds lesbian undertones notwithstanding. Which I mean, I certainly didn't have a problem with it. It just seemed like, are they about to kiss? Was this like a lover's quarrel? I mean, is she missing her girlfriend? After, not just her girlfriend, but her girlfriend after all of these years. And maybe it is. Maybe that's like the. Wait a minute. Watch. What I love about this one. So hold on. Just hold that for 1 second. I don't want to be bothered. Can I keep the mask on, please?
Valentina, this the lip sync competition. What part of lip sync did you not understand?
Can I keep the mask on, please? Is this better?
This bitch, she goes down.
Probably.
Yeah. And you come out with fog glasses.
I know, right? But so I mean, I did like that there were it was a female-centered movie that did not put the woman in like a damsel in distress that needed to be rescued. From the very beginning of the movie, she was positioned as a strong character, and her journey was less about finding her strength, because she had her strength in the beginning, but finding the depth of her strength and really discovering just how powerful she was. So to me, there was that was how it was a little bit different than Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman sort of didn't really know what her powers were.
Well,
in the movie, I mean, she was a warrior, but I mean, there's definitely some parallels.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't think her name is Brie Larson, the actress who plays Carol Danvers. She had all of the personality of a bag of water.
I just thought it was me, because I thought she was just. I'm not gonna say
she was dry,
actress, but it was
she was just dry,
like,
and I was
I don't
just
know
like,
what the personality of Captain Marvel was, but it's
right,
like that personality just seemed
feeling
blah.
it. It just like every line she delivered, it was just like she was reading it off of the cards at like a table read, and there was like no emotion with it.
Yeah, but okay, if that works for you. Annette
Bening, Annette Bening.
So let's be clear. Annette Bening looked fantastic.
Yeah, and with that silver hair, and she just emoted her fucking ass off.
She looked fantastic.
And the little girl was good, and the black woman that played Maria was good and everything. But Brie Larson, I was just like,
yeah, she was whatever. Now,
I mean, she was giving me Kristen Stewart tease. She's like, I'm happy. I'm sad.
Now,
I'm filled with joy.
Did you catch they gave you not access, but they gave you a reason as to why Nick Fury's eye was why he wears the patch?
Right. Yes.
I'm so mad at that, because that is not how I remember Nick losing his eye, but again, I didn't necessarily read all the comic books, but I do not remember that being the reason why he lost his eye.
I did like that the way that they came up with the Krill were funny to me. Dude was just like, it's not really like that. I mean, I just needed a personality. I mean, it was.
They were sarcastic as shit.
Sarcastic, and I thought it was. I felt like that was one of the best things in the movie, because the way that they were positioned in the beginning of the movie was like they were the villains. And, it was like a real 180 on how, and I don't know how closely that matches the comic books
that part I'm
or
not
not.
Sure of,
but I did think that it worked in the movie that, they went from being the villains to being, very sympathetic characters. And I like that.
They were cool. I thoroughly enjoyed them. And what did they call the cat again? He was a Flagelot?
Whatever they called him. And he was like, it's just a cat. He was like, that
He's like, no.
is a monster.
He's like, no. But y'all have to see it. I mean, listen, please don't let my opinion.
I definitely liked it. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I mean, but we're talking about things that could have been better. And I just felt like Brie Larson could have gotten like 100,000 hours more acting training before doing this. She just didn't. Her character just didn't have any personality, but the character was not posited as this sort of emotionless person.
Listen, I love this young lady to death, and listen. So if somehow, some way it gets to her, I love her. She shares the same birthday as my sister, and I'm there with her. I rocks with her. I fucks with her. But listen, I've been watching The Umbrella Academy, and Mary J. Blige is in this.
Does she have Mary J. Blige level acting?
There is some growth. there's some growth that has occurred.
Oh, Mary is much better now.
There's some growth that has occurred in this from the other movies I've seen her in.
Okay.
So I can almost...
She don't have to dance, though.
No. But there's some growth. I had a couple glimpses of some older acting experience, or before this. But there's some base there to go forward. There's some good stuff to move and try to build on.
Yes.
So will she be a Viola Davis or a Glenn Close or a
not
Meryl
even
Streep?
a Taraji P. Henson?
No, not she. Maybe.
Taraji is a much better actress than people.
Taraji's a great actress.
People, I mean, Cookie was a great role for her, but unfortunately, I feel like in a lot of people's minds, she's Cookie.
Well, absolutely.
But you think about the role that she played in. I keep wanting to say Hidden Fences because they came out at the same time.
Oh, Hidden Figures.
And some of the other she was in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yes.
So she can do like these serious roles.
So yes, she does. But when I say possibly, when you said Taraji P. Henson, because there's an urban thread that they share that they bring to every role that they are in.
Right, but Taraji also has been acting for like 30 years.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Whereas Mary J. Blige has been a singer who has recently got a couple of roles. Well, she has held a microphone in her hand and warbled sometimes on key. I love Mary J. Blige.
I love you.
Just don't get me wrong.
Listen,
I love the shit out of Mary J. Blige.
She walks on stage. She's all the way together. She always got her face on.
Know what your lane is.
And I'm glad
even as a
she's
singer,
expanding her lane.
She's no Anita Baker.
Right.
She's no Beyonce.
But
she's no. Oh, wait a minute. No.
So
Beyonce is actually a pretty good singer.
Let me be clear. I like all the people that he's named, and I think all of them have had growth. No, because again, Janet's not even in that same league with him. She's not a singer.
I'm glad you realize. She's
not a singer. However, she's an entertainer. We'll come back to that. But all I'm saying is,
Mary J. Blige, good for you.
I'm happy that you are doing other things and you are expanding your brand, because that's for me ultimately that is what I want people to do. Expand your brand, do everything you need to do, and she's doing it. And I'm actually enjoying her character in this. So that's what I will say. And there's been lots of growth. So I was like, okay, so I'm applauding you, Mary.
Have you been Are you a Star Trek fan? Have you been watching?
No, I'm not a Star Trek fan.
Got to get Lonzy on the show.
Yeah,
or Spectre to come talk.
Yeah, I'm not a Star Trek fan. But what I will say, I also, we can't talk about Drag Race, so.
No, not till next week. Thanks.
I'm looking forward to this other show. It sounds like Dark Shadows. That's what it's kind of giving me, a Dark Shadows type of feel with these vampires, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about.
You know what's coming out at the end of the month? Us.
Oh, I thought that's out.
It comes out wide release at the end of the month, or like on the 22nd or something like that.
I'm here for it, though.
They've been having, critics.
Yeah.
It was like a Sundance, and there's opened in a limited release in New York and
I'm here for it.
Los Angeles, but so it's in wide release at the end of the month, and some are already calling it a horror masterpiece. So
I'm here for it.
I'll definitely go to see that.
Let's jump into this, because I had this conversation.
I saw this and I was just like, so when they don't, these are probably some of these same people. Oh, so what we're talking about is this college admission scandal where some people paid as much as $1.5 million to get their dumbass kids into Ivy League and other top tier schools. Because let's just be clear, these kids were not smart. Because it was more than just, I wrote a check to so-and-so school and my kid got in. This was, my child didn't even sit for the SAT or ACT. They had someone go in with a fake ID, pretend to be them, and take the test as them. Or they
altered the answers.
There were some proctors in on it that changed the grades of their dumbass children afterwards. or they got some doctor to say that their child had some sort of a learning disability so that they could get into school, so they could have extra time to take the test. So like, I don't even know how long the ACT is or the SAT is now, but let's say it's 3 hours. They get 5 hours to do it because if you have when I was in school, it was like you got 3 hours to take this test.
But now they give you
extra time, and so I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But so they got extra time to take the test, or they had someone else pretend to be them altogether, or they played sports. They played white people sports, or they got into school under the assumption that, so like they said, oh, so and so is an excellent tennis prospect and he's going to help the tennis team at the school. And then not only were they not an excellent tennis prospect, but they never even went out for the team. So they got admitted to the college. They didn't get a scholarship, but they got into college under premise that they were this standout tennis player or badminton player, or name another, like white people's crew. Yeah, one of them was like crew or some other shit. And they didn't even actually play the sport. Yet when, black and brown kids, try to get into school, many of these, now maybe like the two famous actresses, maybe like Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin didn't say this, but a lot of these people were like wealthy Republican donors and Democratic donors, by the way. But these are probably some of the same people that are like, we don't need affirmative action. Well, what the fuck do you think it is when you write a check and get into school? And at least with affirmative action, they didn't literally cheat their way into the school. You literally cheated your way. You cheated your way into an admission for your child. Also, they, this is the root. Root is, I can't read the root but so much because sometimes it's depressing. But sometimes shit is depressing. And they talk about, your good Judy, Jared Kushner. Well, Jared Kushner's father wrote a check for $2.5 million to Harvard, and guess who got into Harvard after that?
Listen, as someone that actually is a former college admissions person, all I need to know is where the fuck were y'all when I was struggling to try to get some damn money? Like, where were y'all? Because y'all could have wrote me a check somewhere. Let me take that back.
Your mother would have needed to write the check.
But I'm just saying. No, as an admissions person that I was
you wanted
the application.
You wanted to be bribed?
Listen, y'all could listen. Do you understand what I could have done?
Are you saying you were open to bribes?
Listen. But since we're past that, I will honestly say all of the things that all the applications that I read, I struggled with some of these kids. Like, I really struggled with them, and there were some kids that I just actually had to fight tooth and nail because I felt that strongly about their academic promise. And I feel several different ways about this particular story because it affects me and how I came into school. It affects every other person, after me and even before me, because this has been going on forever. And people are like, well, this is a new scandal. No, this is not new. This has been going on forever and ever. They got caught. That's what it was. They got caught.
It happens every time, some parent writes a huge donation to the school. Because, I mean, really.
Listen, and even on the financial aid side.
Do you think, even forget the current president, do you think George W. Bush deserved to get into Yale based on the grades that he got when he was in there? Because we know that George W. Bush got like a couple of D's, mostly C's, and, 1 or 2 B's. That's not Yale work.
No.
You're supposed to be coming into Yale making A's.
Listen.
So did it help? That's affirmative action when you just that wasn't affirmative action. Even if George and Barbara Bush did not write an actual check, the fact because when he was of age of going to college, his father was the director of the CIA and had been like a senator.
That wasn't affirmative action. That was falsified financial freedom. That's what that was. They felt like they can do whatever the fuck they wanted to do financially with this false sense of security. Listen, and unfortunately they did it. That's right. Just how I feel about it.
And so when people talk about, affirmative action, we don't need that because, it's taking a place from some deserving kid. Well, all of this shit takes place from
This
a
just shows how
child.
deserving these kids are. So listen, America, it sounds like that you have these kids, these privileged white kids that are not necessarily academically talented, if you ask me,
because if they were academically talented,
it wouldn't even be an issue. They
Right.
would have just applied and went right on in. It would have been an issue. But it sounded like they weren't academically talented. They were already set up in a system where they already had the advantage, but then still they failed and got caught.
And if this is the kind of shit that their parents did, these children are already spoiled rotten.
They are.
These
This is
weren't
why
good
people
kids that got caught up in the system. So I don't feel bad for them. I feel like their ass should all get kicked out.
This is how that privileged attitude keeps generating over and over and over again. It's regenerated because this is what they've seen their parents do. This is what has happened to them. This is what they will continue to do for their kids. It's cyclical, and they will keep doing it over and over and over again.
They won't even understand what it means to struggle or have to work for anything, so they won't. When life hits them with some challenge, they're not even going to be able to handle it.
Listen,
I think the first challenge that should hit them is that they get kicked out of whatever school they got into.
Listen, and in some of
So
these places,
I feel bad for Lori Laughlin's. I really don't feel bad for Lori Laughlin's kids, because you know what?
some of these
They'll still be able to get into some state school instead of going to.
That was part of that was part of the
Right,
email that was
saying
sent off to them.
top tier schools, because I was like, Stanford is a top tier school, but is UCLA is a top tier school?
Lori Laughlin in particular, her and her husband wrote a letter specifically to their
And
guidance
her husband
counselor,
is a fashion designer.
says that they don't want their kids to end up at some state university like Arizona State University. Well, as far as I know, any university that you've gone to pretty much will set you up to do whatever you want. It's the opportunities you need to take advantage of that come your way while you're there. But again,
And if
Arizona State
your
University
mother
has
is a
produced some
famous
very good.
right, and if your mother's a famous actress and your father is a well-known fashion designer,
You already
as
have
long
a
as
foot
you
up.
manage to get out, even if you don't get out of school, I just think that you're going to be able to get an internship. I mean, I don't think that you're going to listen. You know how the kids are like, oh, I got this unpaid internship and I gotta, go live in New York City and find a way to struggle. No, girl, if you go to New York City and do all of a sudden you're going to get an internship with Prada. And you'd be like, I wonder how you did that, even though you got D's in your fashion marketing class.
And not to mention that this internship might actually be paid, but that's a whole other
Right.
story. And then people they got upset about Malia taking a internship with the film company that she had in New York, but she earned it. She absolutely earned it. And even if she didn't earn it at this particular point, the advantage of this particular situation was she was in a position where she networked and figured out who she could actually talk to, because again, she was already set up to actually be.
Right.
In that area.
I don't begrudge her or any person taking advantage of some of the connections of having a famous parent, because if I did,
absolutely,
I would too.
Listen.
But it's what you do and how you do it. So if you get lucky enough to know somebody and you get in there and grind, then yeah.
Make it happen.
But if you get in there and like, I don't really have to do anything. Now, if the reports came out that Malia sat around and when they were like, get coffee, she was like, I don't get coffee. I used to have Secret Service agents. Then that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
But so R. Kelly. Here's what I want to say on R. Kelly.
Kells. Lord have mercy.
I have no interest in going to see R. Kelly. I have no interest in listening to anything that he has done.
Except for these memes, they are slaying him to death. And
but for R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby, the memories that I have around those people are from shit that happened like 20, 30 years ago.
And for the most part, they're pretty positive for me.
And they're positive for me. I'm not going to not watch The Cosby Show and A Different World because because that was Heathcliff Huxtable. I'm certainly not going to do anything that he supports now because I know that. I am not going to buy any of R. Kelly's new music, but I'm not going to take away the memory of when we were riding up to Tallahassee, from Tallahassee to D.C. for NOMA convention, National Organization of Minority Architects. And there was this one dude from the island who was like really socially awkward. And he literally did that. So we're listening to the car, and Bump and Grind comes on, and he was like, Bump and Grind, Bump and Grind, Bump and Grind. And so like he is sitting next to this, and the dude wasn't particularly homophobic, but neither did he want this dude like sitting next to him like Bump and Grind, Bump and Grind. And he was like, dude, could you stop that? Could you stop that? So I'm not going to have those memories taken away every time I hear that song, or, the positive memories that I have associated with that. I feel like we have to separate the artistry from the artist.
Yes.
Especially when so like if you see somebody come out now, so like it would be entirely different if like 30 years ago we knew this about R. Kelly. I mean, I guess maybe we did. But knew like in the way that we know now, then I would have never had an opportunity to build any positive memories with him, because I'd have been right now. Like if somebody came out right now and I was like, oh, I really like this song, and then come to find out he raped like 25 girls. I'm like, well, I'll never listen to his shit again. But no, I can't take away the memories from, those decades
and Michael Jackson
ago. Now, what I will do is I'll respect people that don't want to listen to it. So I ain't going to be like at the party, be like, next hour is R. Kelly hour. But I mean, I'm not going to delete it from my catalog.
I wish I would. I paid too much money for that.
I did delete. I did go through this phone and delete all of my R. Kelly music, but then I forgot I still had it on my iTunes. So when I resynced it, it uploaded it again. I was like, actually, that's good, because I was feeling some kind of way after I deleted all of it.
One of my favorite albums, unfortunately, is that Chocolate Factory album by R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. It just plays, and I can listen to it from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go. And some of my best memories from childhood have happened because of Michael Jackson. And so when people start talking about this stuff that is going on, how they're going back and talking about these allegations from new people, and also revisiting some of the older ones, especially with Wade Robson and how he's now on this new bandwagon of like being interviewed, I think it was by Oprah, I think it was, and a part of this series. Michael Jackson, for me, he was a singer. He made good music. He was a dancer, which was electrifying for me. So I can't. I mean, but I can say all of that, but I feel like I can say that and still say that I believe you. The person that was accused?
The accusers. Yeah. I think I can still say that I have good memories of the entire Thriller album.
Because you are separating the artist from their art. And
right, because I feel like you could say he broke records, he broke these boundaries, right. He did this, but he was also a terrible human being individually.
Well, there's a lot of artists that have that thing where they put out great music, but they are terrible human beings.
I think because now we live in a culture where everybody, well, yes.
I mean...
Well, yeah, and people want everyone to be these black and white, all good or all bad, and no one is either all good
What's
or
his name?
all bad.
Married his cousin, played the piano.
Elvis Costello?
Not Elvis Costello, the other one.
Elvis Presley? Because he was related to...
he was, but this Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of geniuses, male and female, throughout history have been terrible people, but have made great contributions to society, and you can still talk about whatever their contribution is and also talk about how they were terrible human beings in one way or another. And we can have conversations about what we can do to better protect people in the future now that we know. And so what we can learn from Michael Jackson and R. Kelly is that someone's ability to make good music should not blind us to the other things that we see going on. Like, I mean, most of that shit happened with Michael Jackson when I was a kid, and I was not in a position to be like, why does he always spend time with these young children? I just feel like there's no good reason.
But I also think
why.
I also think that we came from households with parents that were in tune enough to say, if my mother felt a certain way about these accusations at that particular point in time, she would have been like, we're not listening to this. Like, my mother was that mother that wouldn't let me watch The Exorcist. Like, she was that person. So
I couldn't even listen to Richard Pryor. I had to sneak and listen to Richard Pryor.
That was some of the best things ever. You sit there sneaking at the top instead of listening. Like, what? He said, what? Like, But anyway.
Mudbone? Bitch, I listen to Mudbone. When I first came down here, there were 100,000 Chinese 10 niggas, and 1 Jew. He owned everything. Let me tell you. Anyway, we got 2 minutes.
Horrible music. Horrible when you think about it as far as what he says. But actually,
it was great.
It was
storytelling.
Funny. It's great storytelling. But it's like when you sit back, you're like, oh, that's just not.
That's why I don't fucks with women, because they drain you. Like, they want to fuck all the time.
But it's funny.
And then they make you a sandwich after, but then you're just dead. Anyway, so
Lord have mercy. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. But here's the thing.
Okay, but you bought an old shit, so
okay. Well, the BGKH Show streams, live on Wednesdays on VoxWave.com.
Like an updated script, we might have known all this.
If you'd have watched Drag Race, we could have talked about that too. But
we better fill up the hours.
8 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
Are you bitter? Are you mad? What's the matter, Pedro?
5:15 to 6:15 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are currently available.
It's not 5:15. It's 8 to 9 and 5 to 6. You said 15. Did he not say 15?
I did say 15. I did say the 15 because we technically were on the 15 at that particular point in time. So yes.
Yes, but that's not what it is now.
Right. But what's written here is 6:15
yes,
and 7:15.
But you should be able to interpolate. You've got 30 seconds, please.
So currently we are able to host a live audience, and so if you are interested, we will encourage you to come into the audience. But we also will encourage you to call into the show when we're online. 240-719-2560 when we're on. But we're not on right now because we're going to go off, so you can't call in right now. But here's the thing. You are able to reach me if you have any other questions about anything. You can reach me on Facebook at Epic. You can find me under Epic Onyx. You can also reach me on Instagram and also on also on Twitter. But you can find me on Twitter at Epic Onyx1 and on Instagram at I am Epic Onyx. And so you can reach this man right here, Dominion. Where and how?
At Dom Onyx on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Dom Onyx and www.domonyx.com.
And what about Alonzo and all that stuff?
Alex and Alonzo. I actually got a check the other day.
Tell them about Alex and Alonzo. Are they going to be able to see the story? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, eventually there's going to be,
finish.
my...
Listen.
Alex and Alonzo, a love story, available on iTunes and with excerpts on www.domonyx.com. Thank you for coming. God bless you and good night. Hopefully we'll have a...
If you ever been mistreated, y'all got to know what I'm talking about. If you ever been mistreated, y'all got to know what I'm talking about. I worked 18 years for one woman. She had